What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you tune in and check out the content. And with this being said, man, you know what? I want to this game yesterday between the Cowboys and the Chiefs, man, was a really good game, and I think this victory by the Cowboys, I think that this really knocks the Chiefs out of that playoff picture. You know, I know that they go to like a 500. I think they 6-6 right now, right? Uh, and I just they just don't look like they have like what it's going to take this year, in my opinion, to make it to the playoffs and to go all the way. And even with a great coach Andy Reid, great quarterback Patrick Mahomes, I just think that they just have too many deficiencies on their team, whereas though it's too much to overcome for those two guys, man. And the good thing about it is, as long as you got Patrick Mahomes and he could stay healthy, then you just go ahead and rebuild and rebuild. But the Cowboys, in my opinion, just knocked them out of the playoffs. Out of that playoff hunt, in my opinion. So, and I was listening to Rich Eisen TV, his podcast, where he basically said the same thing, that he don't think that the Chiefs are going to be able to bounce back from this. And so, with that being said, man, I'm gonna play his audio and let y'all hear what he had to say about it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and come back and I'm gonna make some comments.
Okay. The headline of this video is the Kansas City Chiefs are officially in trouble, which is something I can't believe that I'm saying. A team that does have Mahomes playing like he does with 4 touchdowns, and Kelsey playing like he does with a touchdown, and Rice playing like he does with 2 touchdowns, and Hollywood Brown with a touchdown. And pretty much everybody from their championship seasons. But the Kansas City Chiefs are in trouble with 6 losses now. 6-6. We were going into last week saying that Mahomes has never been 500 this late in the season. We're now going into next week, week 14 of the NFL season. The Kansas City Chiefs at 6-6 with pretty much everybody still there. Bolton and Duffy and Jones and Spagnuolo as the DC and Nagy the OC with Andy Reid. I honestly don't know what it is, but everything that the Kansas City Chiefs have been doing this year looks the same, with the exception of about 10 plays. Now, obviously, that's the difference between winning and losing in the National Football League. But mistakes like interference penalties and not scoring before either side of the time, like on Thanksgiving Day when the Chiefs got the ball first and start the second half, don't score, got the ball right after Dak Prescott scores at the end of the first half with the Dallas Cowboys getting a touchdown from a guy fresh off the practice squad from a couple weeks ago. The Chiefs usually don't give up big, huge 40-yard touchdown dashes like we saw earlier today. My goodness, are the Chiefs in trouble, because 6-6 in this AFC right now. 6-5 was the 10 seed. I have no idea what 6-6 is going to look like by the week. And they have lost to the Bills, and they have lost to the Jaguars, and they have lost to the Chargers, who going into week 13 Sunday are all your wild card teams. They have lost to the Broncos, who are doing cartwheels right now, getting ready to head to Washington, D.C., where the Commanders have lost a gajillion games in a row. And the Broncos are 9-2 coming off of a bye, and they are going into week 14, 4 games in front of the Kansas City Chiefs in the loss column. So at this point in time, it sure does look like we're going to have a new AFC West champion for the first time in a decade. 9 straight seasons in a row. It's 100% in the line of fire, in jeopardy, if not completely already done. Right, 5 games to go, and the Texans are in Indianapolis this week, and they're the ones who have to go to Arrowhead next week. Now, the good news for the Chiefs is there are some winnable games. They play Vegas, they play Tennessee, they play at home for 3 of their final 5. They're better at home than they are on the road, although, again, they play good football for the most part, winning football for the most part in Dallas, but they made too many mistakes. And they're the ones who came up with the first turnover of the game, and still that wasn't enough for the Chiefs to take an early lead and get a turnover. The defending AFC champs 3 times over, the Kansas City Chiefs, dominant dynastic window of Super Bowl appearances and chances. They're 6-6 heading into week 14 again. I'll repeat this line.
Look, so let me just say this. And everybody was already, they was already saying that Patrick Mahomes was going to catch Tom Brady far as like his as amount of Super Bowl rings. And I was like, man, too much for people to say that like so much can happen. And football is so physical that you can't even really start to talk about stuff like that until Patrick get about 5 rings or so. 4 or 5 rings. And I think Patrick got like he had 3 rings, but it's just so much can happen, and I know it's early in his career and maybe they play it up. The media plays that type of stuff up so they can, just for clicks and stuff like that. But it's remembered like who was the quarterback? Dan Marino made it to hit a Super Bowl like in his first or second year, and everybody was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be here every year, every other year, and that was his last. You never know how things are gonna play out, and Patrick Mahomes is great. Then you got Andy Reid as a great coach. But for this team right here, man, like for their defense to play the way they've been playing lately, I think is inexcusable, because one thing about the Patriots, as long as Bill Belichick was there, man, they always had a really, really good defense, right? Because defense a lot of times, sometimes you're going to get some guys that are excellent, defensive players, but every year but it just takes defense is about more so about effort and making sure that everybody, when it comes to defense, everybody is like doing their job. Like that was their motto when like do your job. That was the Patriots. Everybody, like do your job, right? And so ain't no excuse for the Patriots. I mean, for the Chiefs not to have a solid defense every year. Especially if and you got Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the ball. So when you have Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the ball, great quarterbacks not only affect the offense, but they affect the defense too, because they know that like a great quarterback is not going to put them in compromising situations too often. Like they're not going to be turning the ball over, at their own on their own 20 or 15 or nothing, like, or getting sacked in the end zone, stuff like that, right? And they know that great quarterbacks are going to stay on the field, at least stay on the field for as long as possible, and that helps the defense out. So, and Patrick, for the most part, Patrick Mahomes do that. You don't see Patrick Mahomes getting a whole bunch of like 3 and outs, so they do their part. So it's not the defense, no excuse for them to have a bad defense, right? And so offense, like the skill players and stuff like that, you got to continuously like bring new guys in that can that can play or be able to scheme in a way where so you can use people their strengths and stuff like that. But I don't think this year that, number one, their defense to me is not playing up to par for the Kansas City Chiefs. Then on top of that, they don't have enough. You got Kelsey. We really don't have too much besides Patrick Mahomes. Like their offensive line is kind of up and down, but yeah, man. And then on top of that, you do have to give Dallas credit. Dallas played tough against the Eagles. Then they play tough against Kansas City. So Dallas, Dallas ain't nothing to be they not a team that you can just look past and think that you are going to, you're going to roll right over the Cowboys, because that's not the case. Dak Prescott playing pretty good this season. So yeah, man, I think their playoff hopes just, in my opinion, just went out the window with that loss yesterday. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.